Let's fucking go.
Hello everybody, welcome to the Copy and Movie Show. My name is D-Shot, and today I am sitting on this. We are getting closer and closer to Superman releasing, to James Gunn's new Superman coming out, and I have been getting so more excited. I've been getting excited for it. Like, I have my questions about what James Gunn is doing in terms of the scale of what he's doing, because a lot of the things he talks about is still insane. Let me remind you that this man has basically said that his connected universe is not only going to be movies, it is going to be shows, it is going to be animated shows, it is going to be comic books, and it's going to be video games. That's a lot of connected shit. That's a lot to connect. Like, we're hearing that Superman's going to show up in fucking Peacemaker for some reason. Why the fuck are Superman characters in Peacemaker? Who the fuck knows? But I digress. The way he talked about the scale of it, I have my doubts and my questions about that. But, when it comes to Superman in particular, something that I've noticed from the trailers, from the interviews, from just the things that I've seen about the actors, and particularly the actor they cast as Superman and the way they're portraying him, especially in that last trailer that they came out with, to put the tickets on sale, is he is taking a different approach to Superman. A lot of people are saying he's taking a classic approach to Superman. No, I actually think he's taking a different approach to Superman, because there's always been a description, and I can't remember who said this or where I heard it, but I remember someone described DC, the difference between DC and Marvel. And the way they described it was, Marvel is normal, everyday people trying to handle the power of being a god. Trying to handle godlike power. They're trying to handle godlike power. They were normal people before this shit, but they're trying to handle being godlike. Whereas for the most part, DC is godlike characters struggling with being normal. Struggling with finding normality, struggling with finding, something ordinary in their crazy lives because they're godlike beings. Now, obviously, there are some variants here and there. Obviously, you look at Jon Stewart, was just an ordinary guy, and Wally West. Then you look on Marvel, you got Thor and characters like that. But for the most part, I've always thought that that's kind of held true. And those both there's great stories to be told on both sides of that line. Obviously, they've been telling great stories on both sides of those lines for years, decades. But generally speaking, that's kind of how they've always approached Superman. Now, obviously, Zack Snyder took that to another fucking level with the level of goddamn... the level of just... I don't want to think about Man of Steel, man. That most pretentious shit I've ever seen, ever. He handled Superman with a level of pretentiousness that is just unrivaled. But, generally speaking, Superman is handled like that. He is handled like a godlike character who his struggles are being normal. His struggles is, connecting with people and all those kinds of things, and staying right by the way he was raised, and being there for his mom, being there for Lois, being there for the Daily Planet. That's his struggles, is being human. It's the normality of it all. I mean, there's a reason that in the animated series, his big dream was just to have a normal wife and kid, to just be a normal dude with a wife and kids. Like, it's not a coincidence that was his fantasy. Because that's what he struggles with. Because that's his struggles, is being normal. Well, James Gunn has sort of, I'm not going to say written this version of Superman a little bit like a Marvel character, but the way that it's been interpreted at least I'm interpreting it in the trailers and whatnot, it's less about a Superman struggling to be Clark Kent and more about Clark Kent struggling with the responsibilities of Superman, which is very much like more in the lines of a Marvel character. Because, like I say, it seems like the way he's approaching this Superman, which makes me excited because it opens up the possibility for this to be a more impressionable Superman, for this to be a more relatable Superman, for this to be a Superman who's probably, and you kind of get snippets of that in the trailer, at least I believe, with the way he was talking to Lois and her little faux interview, and the way he, Just the way his mom was like, I'm gonna go get your boots. Like there's so much of the dialogue in the trailers kind of indicates that that's James Gunn's approach to this version of Superman. This is about a boy, a guy, who's struggling with his power, struggling with the responsibility that he has for being this powerful. This isn't the reverse. Usually, like I say, most Superman stories are the reverse. It's Superman struggling his damnedest to just be normal. Superman struggling his damnedest to try to be Clark Kent and, you know, trying to fit being in Superman and all that. But he's got the Superman shit mostly down, but it's the other shit that's where we get the drama from. But here, like I said, it seems like he flipped it, and he's got, and in his version of Clark Kent is like, I got all this shit down. I got the girl, my family, I got the job. He's got the normal, being a normal guy shit down. It's being Superman that's challenging. It's knowing when to use his powers that's challenging. It's handling all these different people as Superman. That's the challenge. And it gives, and I think this is a much better way to approach Superman. And someone should have approached Superman this way a long time ago. And I'm sure some people have approached Superman this way in the comics and maybe in some animated stuff. But it just kind of like became so apparent to me over the weeks when I'm seeing more promotional stuff for it, is that James Gunn is handling Superman very differently and more, he's putting more emphasis on the Clark Kent, on the human part of Superman, than anybody else really has. I mean, Lois and Clark, I think, did some stuff like that, did a lot of that. There are some other, the animated Superman that's out, the Adventures of Superman or whatever. Like, there are other things, but I think in terms of, like, movies, big blockbuster movies, James Gunn really did approach this, and like I said, I don't want to piss some people off by saying this, but he really approached this like a Marvel film. He really approached this like a Marvel property, because like I said, generally speaking, that's how Marvel handles their characters, is they look at the human guy first, and then it's like the human guy struggling with being the super guy. That's usually how Marvel handles all of their superheroes. And like I say, DC usually handles it in reverse way, which is this, you know, this rich billionaire or this godlike being struggling with being normal, or struggling with the balance act of it all. Whereas, you know, like I say, Marvel does it the opposite. So I actually think that that's going to be more effective. I think it's going to give us the most relatable Superman of all time. I think this movie is going to give us the best, like, we are going to fall in love with Clark Kent. And I don't think any Superman movie has really done that in a long time. I don't think any Superman project has really done that in a while, where you genuinely like Clark Kent when he's not doing anything. You're like, I like him either when he's kicking ass or when he's just Clark Kent. And I think that James Gunn is going to capture that. I think there's going to be some great action, obviously. We saw him in the trailer. But I think James Gunn's going to be the first guy to ever make people like Clark Kent. But anyways, thank you guys for the Comic Movie Show. Please leave a like and subscribe. What do you guys think? Are you excited for this new Superman for the same reasons as me? Or or do you have other reasons to be excited? Comment below and let me know. Thank you guys for the Comic Movie Show. Again, please leave a like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.